Hi there crafters, it's Louise with you today on behalf of Mystical Scrapbooks design team, and I am sharing a new scrapbook layout. And for the month of August we are focusing on chipboard pieces. So I've chosen this Good Times with Great Friends chipboard, and I'm teaming it up with the Uniquely Creative collection that you can find in the Mystical Scrapbook store. So what's good about this particular collection is it has quite a focus on being a little bit more masculine. It's got lots of blues and neutral colours, and I really I liked this collection from the very beginning. So starting with this background paper, because it's already a little bit mixed media, I'm struggling a little bit as to how I could enhance it because, you know, I don't tend to leave my papers plain in the background. I like to at least have added something to help enhance my photos and my layouts. You know, I scrapbook because I enjoy the art and the creative process, and I love to see my memories on the page as well. But in this case, I needed a way to make this a little bit more creative. So pardon me, you can see that I am getting a little bit messy and distressy, and I'm completely cutting into this piece of paper. So I'm cutting some holes and folding back the edges on those, and then it's still just a little bit too neat for me, so I decide that I'm going to scrunch up the whole piece of paper and you know, make it have a real distressed and aged look to it. Now, those holes that I've created, I need to back them somehow, and I considered the glitter cardstock, I considered patterned papers, and I eventually go with the same patterned paper as what I've got in the 12 by 12, so it's that sort of mixed media look, and I'm going to use sections of that just to back the holes that I've made. Now, two ways you can do this. So I've attached it straight to the paper, or if you wanted to, you could add some foam or some cardboard between your layers to give a little bit of depth and dimension. But in this case, I just needed to keep things fairly flat. I already had some embellishments, including that flare piece on the front of the page, so I didn't want to add any more dimension by adding too much to the back. Now, because I screwed up that piece of paper, it's not sitting flat 12 by 12. So I'm actually going to get an older 12 by 12 paper and one that I won't particularly use on a layout, and then mount the whole front of this onto an old 12 by 12 piece of paper, because I need to just add something to hold it in place so that it flattens out a little bit. I'm going to do that off camera after all this extra has dried. So you can see I've just added a little bit of extra stamping that was already added to the background, and then I added some black splatters, and that was sort of just enough to embellish the page and enhance what I already had going on. Now, this is also a Uniquely Creative die cut that I've just cut in with some white, and then I'm going to fussy cut the little circles out of one of the patterned papers, and then use those to embellish my layout as well. So now that I know how I've got everything set out, I can start to focus on my chipboard. Now, because I'm using a dark blue colour, I don't need to add any gesso. If you want a true colour representation on chipboard, then you should white gesso it first. Otherwise, some of the colour soaks into that chipboard background and you don't get this true colour representation. So in this case, because I was quite happy for it to be that dark blue colour, I wasn't too concerned with adding gesso to the background first. All right, now here's where we're going to get into some fun stuff. I have covered up part of the word that I don't want to get glitter all over, and I've just used washi tape for that. And then I'm going to sponge quite a liberal amount of glue over the top of the word friends. I want this to be quite tacky, so I'm not going to sprinkle my glitter on straight away. I'm going to let that glue sort of tack up a little bit so that it was actually going to stick and not fall off straight away. I wanted a really good amount of glitter. Now, I have actually left that to dry for a couple of days, and then I'm going to peel away the washi tape, and you've got this sort of two-toned chipboard going on, where you've got the plain blue acrylic and then you've got that glittery black background as well. Now, just as a way to finalize anything that I've added glitter, I also use a spray sealant. It's one that I use a lot in my art journals, but I use the spray sealer just over the top to seal that glitter in place. Now that I've embellished everything and I'm happy with the way this looks, I am finished, and I hope that you enjoyed this layout from me.